Hello, welcome back to English with Kit. In today's speaking practice session, I'm going to ask you some questions about your daily routine and habits. Some examples of daily routines and habits are: I wake up at 7 a.m. I go to work at 8:30 a.m. I usually have toast for breakfast. I always brush my teeth in the morning. So as you might have noticed, with habits and routines, we often use a time expression like always, often, occasionally, sometimes, rarely, never. So here's how the exercise works. Number 1, I'll ask you a question. Number 2, you answer the question. Number 3, I'll give you a model answer to the question. Don't worry if your answer is not the same as the model answer. There are many ways to say the same thing. But if you want to ask me a question about your grammar, or if your answer is grammatically correct, you can ask me in the comments. Okay? So let's get started with the speaking practice session. What time do you usually wake up? Okay, now let's take a look at a model answer. A model answer or an example answer could be, I usually wake up at time. For example, I usually wake up at 7:30 a.m. If you want to sound more natural, you can say, I usually wake up at around 7:30 a.m. Question 2. Do you eat breakfast? Okay, a model answer to this question could be, yes, I do. No, I don't. You might also say, I sometimes eat breakfast. Question 3. What do you usually have or eat for breakfast? What do you usually have for breakfast? Okay, excellent. A model answer to this question could be, I usually have, insert the food, like I usually have toast, I usually have cereal, I usually have fruit for breakfast. Again, I usually have for breakfast. Question 4, what time do you start work or school? What time do you start work or school, if you work or go to school? Okay, a model answer to this question could be, I start work or school at 9 a.m. Again, I start work or school at 9 a.m. Question 5. What do you do for work? Okay, a model answer to this question could be, I'm a insert job. For example, I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, etc. Or you could say something like, I work for an electricity company, or I work for a company. Next question. What time do you get home from work or school? Okay. A model answer to this question could be, I get home from work or school. Get home means to arrive home, okay? I get home from work or school at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., etc. Alternatively, if you work from home and you don't have to go home, you could say, I finish work at time. I finish work at 5 p.m., for example. Next question, what do you like to do in your free time? Okay. A model answer could be, in my free time, I like to play tennis, I like to knit, I like to paint, I like to go hiking. Again, in my free time, I like to activity. Question 8. What day of the week do you go shopping? Okay, in this case, you could say, I go shopping on day. For example, I go shopping on Thursdays. But if it changes, you might add usually. For example, I usually go shopping on Thursdays, but sometimes I go on Tuesdays. Question 9. How often do you cook? Okay, so you could say, I always cook, or I cook every day. I sometimes cook. I rarely cook. I never cook. So what things do you like to cook? What do you like to cook? Okay. A model answer could be, I like to cook and recipe. For example, I like to cook tomato and egg soup, or I like to cook pasta, etc., etc. Next question, how often do you eat dessert? Again, we could say, I always eat dessert, or we could say, I sometimes eat dessert, I often eat dessert, or I never eat dessert. Next question, how often do you order food? Okay, a model answer could be, I always order food, or I order food every day. I often order food. I sometimes order food. I rarely order food, or I never order food. Next question. How much time do you spend on your phone every day? A model answer could be, I spend a lot of time on my phone, or I spend quite a lot of time on my phone. But if it's not much, you could say, I spend a bit of time on my phone, or a little time on my phone. Next question, what do you like to do before bed? Okay. To answer this question, you might say, before bed, I like to For example, before bed, I like to read a book. Before bed, I like to watch TV, etc. Next question, what time do you go to bed? Okay, to answer this question, you could say, I go to bed at 10 p.m. or you can add a time expression. For example, I usually go to bed at 10 p.m. Last question, how often do you sleep well? How often do you sleep well? Okay, you might say, I always sleep well. You might say, I often sleep well. I sometimes sleep well. I rarely sleep well, or I never sleep well. Okay, and that's the end of this little speaking practice session. I hope you found it helpful. Please don't hesitate to ask me a question in the comments, whether it's about grammar, vocabulary, or anything to do with English, and I will answer your question in the comments. Please also like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, as it really helps my channel to grow. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.